Thank you very much, Candace. I can see her taking a sigh of relief. That's a typical high school thing. Ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker is a true classicist, so here's a little Keats. My heart aches and a drowsy numbness pains my sense, as though of hemlock I have drunk, or emptied some dull opiate to the drains. 1 minute passed, and leathwards it sunk. 'Tis not through envy of thy happy lot, but being too happy in thy happiness, that thou, like winged dryad of the trees, in some melodious plot of beech and green, and shadows numberless, singest of summer in full-throated ease. Delivering her number 6 speech, Elizabeth Mitchell.
I'm from Kentucky. I have a different cadence and lilt to my voice than people from other regions of the United States. However, I also have noticed I have different shifts in my voice depending on the situation and the audience. I never really had thought much about my speech patterns or my vocal variety until this week when I was preparing this speech. Upon analyzing my speech, I realized that I use 4 distinct voices. I use an office voice, a friend voice, a boyfriend voice, and a family voice. I wanted to share my voices with you all. First, my office voice is very official. It is brisk and clipped and very low. I answer the phone, Elizabeth Mitchell. And if, depending on who is on the other line, I continue that voice and say, yes, thank you, I'll be there for the meeting, have a good day. If it's someone that I have a different acquaintance with, I'll answer the phone, Elizabeth Mitchell. They say, oh, hi, how are you? What's going on? So I noticed that I left an office voice, very professional, on my answering machine, and my friends would call and say, Elizabeth, you sound so grown up on your answering machine. What's happening? And I realized that they were listening, that they were accustomed to listening to my different friend voice, which is more lilting and a little softer and not quite as brisk and clipped as my office voice. My office voice also comes out when I'm annoyed or unhappy or tired. So if I'm using my office voice with you, it doesn't mean that I'm not being nice. It could just mean I'm tired. So don't be offended. The second voice I have is my friend voice. It's the voice that I'm using now. It's the voice that I use with most of you all, and the voice that I use most of the time. I have lots of little roller coaster up and downs in my voice when I speak. It just happens naturally. I don't know why. That's just the way that I sound. I also have a habit of drawing words out and making 1-syllable words into 2-syllable words. Words. That's just the way that I speak. I don't make apologies for it. I'm from Kentucky. I don't know what else to say. I do think that I have an audible voice. I have a good pace. And I have an open, welcoming, I think happy sounding voice. So I'm quite pleased with it. The third voice that I use is my boyfriend voice. Unfortunately, I'm not getting to use that voice a lot right now. But some of you heard it a few months ago when I provided opening remarks of my sexy little library book. The boyfriend voice is a little lower, it's a little slower, a little throaty, and sometimes it gets people's attention. I don't use that voice very often, but I do have to occasionally. When I was in college, I left the answering machine for my roommate and I, for our answering machine. And one of her friends called one day and said, "Who is that on the answering phone? On the answering machine?" does she do 1-900 calls? No, I don't, but if the economy keeps going, you never know. I also have a friend who calls me, and my voice drops. When I hear his voice, my voice drops an octave and sounds like velvet. I don't know why. It happens. Maybe it's a mating call, but it does. My fourth voice and most interesting voice is my family voice. I love my family. I interact with them quite a bit, but I find that our voice, our collective voice for my family includes incorrect grammar, baby talk, whining, and poor enunciation. I don't know why. We have a quite well-educated family, but when we get together, we have a way of communicating with each other that we don't use with anyone else. For example, one of our family friends says every time we leave her house, "Watch out for deers." Okay. I know that the plural for deer is deer. Everyone in my family knows that. But we still say to each other, just like my friend, "Watch out for deers" when we leave. I can't explain why we do it. We just do. Another grammatic shift that we do in our family is a degree in English. I have never used the word ain't. It was never part of our childhood vocabulary. I would never dream of using that in a sentence in a proper conversation. Having said that, my mother and I always say to each other, "I ain't got none." Why do we say that? I don't know. It's the craziest thing. And I really have been thinking this week, trying to figure out, why would I say that to my mother? Why would she? Are we on a project together? Usually we're cooking or we're scrapbooking or needle pointing, and we say, so it's a very close time for us, and we'll say, "I don't know, I ain't got none." The other thing is, I don't say, "I ain't got none." I say, in baby talk. I don't know why that happens, but it is. So I've started thinking about that. We're also big on whining. I'm "Mom! Mama, come here!" I'm a grown person. Why do I whine to my mother? Yet I still do. The other thing is poor enunciation. You've heard Jeff Foxworthy. "Yont to, gee, yeah." That's a little extreme, but we do that sometimes in our family. My brother, when he's sick, he calls me Sissy. "Sissy, fix me a drinky poo. My tum-tum hurts." He would shoot me if he knew that I was saying that to you. But his expression of comfort, vulnerability, and love. That's how my brothers and my mother and I speak to each other. And it's using these different vocal varieties that I wasn't aware of before this week. So, as you go about the rest of your week, think about the voice that you're using with others and the voice that you hear back. It may mean a lot more than you think, Mr. Toastmaster.